Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, you guys. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Let's talk. This is Let's Talk. We have another episode of Let's Talk where I am today. I am telling my story. Hello, hello, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you for joining me today. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Hey, y'all, I am a bit late, but hey, I am on time. Thank you guys for joining. Good afternoon. Y'all already know, let me know where you guys are coming from so that I can shout you out. Thank you for joining today. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I just want to give some people time to hop on in. Someone said I have a timer set because I'll get wrapped up in work. Okay, Virginia is in the house. Thank you, Virginia, for joining today. Hello, hello, you guys. I see you guys coming on in. Welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you guys on today. Santa Barbara is in the house. Hey, Santa Barbara. Thank you for joining today. Happy Tuesday. Yes, yes, yes. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you guys are ready for part two of the story. I hope you guys are ready for part two of this story. Yes, Belize is in the house. Hey, Belize, thank you for joining today. Good afternoon, y'all. Listen here, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that we have our channel membership that is active and available. For those of you who have been blessed by this channel over the years, over the months, over the weeks, over the days, over the hours, and you want to become a supporter of this channel, make sure check out becoming an official supporter. Okay, we have three levels of support. You have supporter, you have super supporter, and you have a VIP supporter, you guys. Arizona is in the house. Hey, Arizona, thank you for joining today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on in, you guys. So for the supporter level, you guys, as of November 1st, only if you are an official supporter, you can chat, on live videos. If you are a super supporter, you will have access to exclusive content. VIP supporters will have access to interactive videos and sessions that we will be having. So listen here, you guys, if you have been blessed by this channel, you want to see this channel continue to grow and continue to be a blessing to others, do consider becoming a supporter. Okay, become a supporter. Hey, hey, hey. We have Georgia/Panama is in the house. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Listen, if you haven't watched part one of me telling my story, make sure when the video is finished today, you go ahead and watch part one. I don't want you to miss that. I have a lot of people that have joined my channel over the years who have not heard me testify. Okay, and so on the weekend, the Lord told me it's time to tell your story, and I was like, again? But I am so honored that so much people is being blessed by me testifying and telling my story as I did it the first time, because a lot of people, yes, had me talking about marriage restoration and ministering via this channel, but a lot of people don't know the foundation of what brought me here. And so just like many of you, I experienced infidelity in my marriage. Okay, as a result of my husband's infidelity, he has two kids, two boys. At some point, they both live with us right now. Just one of them is living with us right now. So that's just a testament of what God is able to do. So listen here, y'all. Let me try again. I don't want to go into part three. I don't want to go into part three. So let me see if I can get this part two wrapped up in an hour. And let me tell y'all something. For those of you, I know you guys have a lot of questions. Meltoria, how you were able to do this? What happened in this situation, in this case, in the scenario? But do me a favor, y'all. Try to hold your questions because I want to get this out. Okay. Yesterday, I felt like I was like losing train of thought. Okay. I was losing train of thought because I don't want to ignore you guys, but I do want to get the story out. So anyways, I believe yesterday when I wrapped up, I was telling you guys how my husband wasn't working, and my husband and I, we got together, we sat down and we talked about how we're going to take care of this child, together. And we came to a mutual agreement. However, my husband decided that he was not going to uphold this agreement. And my husband not upholding this agreement meant that he was taking, because I was the breadwinner at the time, that means that he was taking money that I was earning and doing whatever he wanted to do behind my back. And how I was able to find out was the young lady, she decided to go and talk, trying to be boastful that my husband is taking my hard earned money and taking care of her and her child. And so let me tell you what I did from there, right? And I was upset, right? I mean, come on now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your husband done ain't working and he taking the money that you working to go take care of this girl and the baby that she had as a result of their infidelity? Well, what I did was at the time I went to my HR office and I switched my accounts, right? At the time we had a joint account. I switched the accounts. I took him, made up a new account. So I had my salary go into an account that he did not have access to. And let me tell you something. He was blue, okay? He was blue. All right. But let me tell you something. In that moment, y'all, after I think about a couple of cycles, the Lord rebuked me. The Lord rebuked me and told me to not do that. And so, at that time, even though that I felt as if it was the right thing to do, I felt it was the right thing to do, but the Lord rebuked me. And so I end up having my salary go back to our joint account. And even though the Lord rebuked me and showed me that that was not the right thing to do, that didn't mean that things got better, from that point on, because my husband still had bad habits, right? He still gambled. And so he would take our rent money, and then we were landlords at the time, okay? So we were landlords. We had tenants, we had a complex, and we were collecting rent and paying mortgage or whatever like that. My husband would take the whole everything that he collected and gamble it out, okay? And so that left me devastated. That left me in a bad place, because now he has this extra mouth to feed and we have our two kids, to feed, and he was making all these bad decisions. But let me tell you all something now. Here is where things got interesting, right? So my husband, now there came a point now, because he wasn't financially able to take care of this baby. The young lady, she was requiring and requesting help and support that she wasn't able to get, because my husband couldn't support, and I wasn't yielding up to do no support, right? So she decided that she was going to put my husband in child support. Now, child support is a little bit different than America, okay? I tell her it doesn't make sense you putting my husband in child support, because you gonna get paid. I mean, less than what my children's shoes cost, okay? Because my husband wasn't working, so they can't really make him pay out of anything that he isn't providing. So now, if you guys remember from yesterday, I talked about this horrible birthday that I had, right? But here comes another birthday the following year, where I spent it in the courthouse supporting my husband. I remember somebody asking me, "Well, Taria, you could support during the season." Let me tell you something. It was by the grace of God. Okay, so you just have to know, what would God, the question is, what would Jesus do? So I always was like, what is pleasing in the eyes of God? And so I tried to operate and make decisions according to that manner. Now, it didn't always go, good. It didn't always go, but I tried. So anyways, now for another birthday season, I'm in the courthouse celebrating my birthday, my husband defending himself with child support. And my husband, he wasn't working, so he couldn't pay anything. The judge, the social worker, now the social worker asked me, "Well, Miss Milton, Miss Woodside, this is a situation. Are you willing to pay child support on behalf of your husband?" I told the social worker, "No, I'm not willing to do that." And so, the judgment didn't go in the favor of the young lady or her child, because my husband isn't working and they couldn't force me to pay child support. Okay. So listen here, you guys, that was just, the beginning of an emotional roller coaster that I was going through with my husband. But like I said yesterday, I thought as if that was the end of or the beginning of a new season in me and my husband's life because of what we were going through, trying to patch things up. But then there was always this communication that my husband constantly had with this young lady. It was as if it was hard for him to cut off communication, even though, he was making strides to be better or to do better. Now let me tell y'all guys what happened, because I end up leaving my husband, and I decided, for weeks I was telling my husband I was going to leave him. All right. For weeks I would tell him, you know what, I gonna leave you. I gonna leave you. I ain't gonna put up with this. I gonna leave you. For I don't know, it probably must have been 2 months. I was threatening my husband that I was going to leave. And in that moment, you guys, I was just, even though many of you see me here and I'm an advocate and I'm always encouraging people to stand for their marriage no matter what, I've been in that place, in a position where there were times when I wanted to quit. Many times. Many times I was questioning if I should stay with this man based on the things that he was doing, because yeah, I want my marriage and I want my family, but my husband wasn't doing no better. He wasn't being no better. He wasn't acting no better. And so I kept telling him that I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. And of course, week after week, I don't never leave. I don't never leave. I don't never leave. So now he came to a point where he wasn't even taking me serious. Like the things that what was supposed to be threats wasn't threatening him anymore. But anyways, there came a situation, you guys, where we were on our way home from work, when my husband was picking me up home from work, and the conversation arose of something to the effect of taking care your husband's child. Right now, he have a relative. She met her husband with children. Right, she met her husband with children, and my husband was trying to say that a good woman would take care of the child no matter what. So my argument was that if the child came before marriage, of course, but any child after marriage, she don't have no obligation to take care of the child. So listen here, like I already told you guys, my husband, he always was, angry, enraged. So even in that time and in that moment, it was difficult to even have like a debate. So the debate went from 0 to 20 very quickly. Okay. And I realize now that this ain't just a debate with going on. My husband angry, right? I looked at my husband's face and I saw rage. And because as I testified yesterday, my husband already hit me a couple of times. So I was a saucy woman, but my husband already hit me a couple of times, so I ain't really trying to keep defending this argument, but I went silent. Right. So as he was, a woman should take care, but I went silent because now I'm at a point now where I fear my husband. Okay, I was at a point where I'm now fearing my husband. I don't know if this casual debate conversation is going to turn up and me getting a busted lip or something. So I said, you know what, I just went silent. I just went silent, but I did make the comment again. I can leave you. Right. So when we came to the house, now we were living, we was living with my in-laws. So it was my in-laws, my sister, in-laws, and then, my son, and the baby, right? So now we just had a heated conversation. I walk in the door, good afternoon, like ain't nothing happened, right? Because back in that time, I was so prideful. Right? I was so prideful. I didn't want people to know, what I was going through. So I always put on this persona that everything was okay. But let me tell you something. As soon as I walked in our bedroom and my husband walked in our bedroom, just as I turned around, my husband launched on top of me. I launched on the bed and my husband began to choke me. Okay. Now, y'all don't understand how small I was. Okay. So I was a size 5, 5'4", and I probably weighed about 140 pounds. So I was very small. And my husband was tall, thick, big, and strong. Okay, so he was on top of me and, choking me out. And as I'm looking in his face, my husband, it was like he was angry, right? Like he was a monster and I was the enemy. And he was just choking me out to the point where I say, God, is this how I am going to die? I don't keep on trying to tell him, stop, stop, stop. He ain't stopping. Nobody coming to help. His parents was inside the front. Nobody coming to help. He ain't stopping. I tapping on him. Please, stop, stop, stop. And I just relax. And I said, God, is this how I'm going to die? That's what I thought to myself. And after I relaxed, my husband let go of my throat. Listen here, my throat was sore. My throat was in pain. From that moment, I know this whole threatening to leave, this gotta be serious. All I said to myself in that moment when he stopped, I gotta leave. And the scariest thing about my husband was he would do things like this, and in a split second, it was like it didn't happen. My husband would cuss me out. My husband would put his hands on me, and in the split second, it would be like nothing happened. Gone back to regular conversation, gone back to, like business as usual. So I know it in my head. I gotta leave. I got to leave. So the next day, because like I tell you all, I used to drive by the lawyer office. I wanted to stop. I wanted to see how much it costs. I wanted to do all that, but something on the inside of me kept telling me, no, keep going. No, don't stop. If you stop, you can end up using the papers. If you get the information, you can follow through. No, don't do it. So, anyways, now the next day, I know that all these times me threatening my husband to leave, I gotta leave. I really gotta leave. So now the following day, my husband with his regular schedule, going to the gambling house to gamble, and I drop him there. Right, that time I already told my sister. I said, I didn't tell my sister at that time. I didn't pre-warn her about anything, but I drop my husband to where he like go gamble, and when he go to the gambling house, that's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I could do whatever I needed to do at that time. So 2, 3, I know when I drop him off, when he go there, that's it. And I had the car, so I didn't have to worry about anything. So this was my time now to exit. So I went home, which was 45 minutes away, and I called my sister. I said, sis, I need you to come get me now. Okay. I pack up everything that I own in about an hour. Okay. Everything that I own about an hour. And I told my in-laws I am leaving. I am leaving. Now, let me tell you all something. I had an infant and I had a 6-year-old. When I say I leave it, I wasn't carrying them. Okay. I had already planned to leave them because now I tell you all, my husband is a good father. Okay. I was already in fear of him and I didn't want no smoke with me bothering with his children. Now, I know some of y'all say, I would have take my children. Listen here. You can say what you can do all the time and how you can do it, but listen here, my husband don't play about his children. So I knew that if I was going to make this getaway, I had to leave the man children. But my 6-year-old, listen here, when I tell my 6-year-old overheard me telling my in-laws that I was leaving. Listen there, he said, Mommy, I coming with you. And I was like, no, you ain't coming. Like, I don't want to take this man children. No, you stay. But listen here, this little guy, he go on and he pack up his bag. He throw everything that he wanted. He gonna find this big bag. I don't know where he find this big bag from. He gonna find this big bag, pack up everything that he owned, put it in the bag. And when my sister came, he dragged his bag inside the car, right behind me, and the baby was left. And my sister already had a plan. I ain't never told her what I was experiencing, But my sister said she was having dreams. Okay. She said she was having dreams that my husband was abusing me. Okay. I never denied or confirmed that this was the case, but I knew she was having dreams, right? As a matter of fact, she was having so much dreams about my husband abusing me that she believed that my husband been abusing me for years. She said, "You sure? You sure? Because I just have dreams." She thought that my husband was abusing me for years prior than it actually happened. So anyways, now, so she already had a plan set up. So a friend of hers who had, had space, had a house, already let her know whenever I need to come there that I could come. So now I didn't have to worry about a place to stay. But I didn't stay with a family. I didn't stay with family. I didn't stay with any one of my friends. I stayed with one of my sister friends. Okay. Now here is the thing. Now I tell you all, I had my vehicle, right. My husband and I, our vehicle. So what I did was I parked it where he was playing, and I let my sister carry me. But also, too, my husband had a firearm. And so I took the firearm because now my husband, during that time, he was a violent person. Okay. Listen here, I wasn't taking no chances. I took my husband's firearm and I took it to the police station, and I asked the police, I tell them I am in fear of my life. I just need them to hold this until things get sorted out. Anyhow, so now I parked the car where my husband was. It was not expected the car to be there. So apparently what happened was someone asked him to come move the car. I probably should have parked it, in a better place. Right? So I probably should have parked it in a better place. But anyhow, someone asked him to move the car. Of course, it's strange to him because his car shouldn't be there. Okay, his car should not be there. So when he went and checked, he tried to figure out where is his wife. And then I told him I left. Okay, I left, and he wanted to know, where are you? I didn't tell him where I was. And listen here comes the text messages. When I find you, I can kill you. When I find you, I can this and I can that, and I hate you. And so he was cursing me out, calling me all manner of names, right? On one text. Listen here, my husband was texting like artificial intelligence. Okay, the text was coming in so fast. I didn't know how to respond as quick as they was coming in. But in one tongue he hate me, in one tongue he loved me. He's sorry. He ain't gonna do it again. He could do better. The next place, when I find you, I can kill you. I can kill this person. I can kill that person. It was just, and I was crying the whole night. From I reached to my sister's friend's house, I cried from I reached there all night. All night I was crying. All night. Okay. And then the thing about it is, I had my 6-year-old there, and I couldn't even contain myself. I couldn't, sometimes we don't want our children to see ourselves in this position. But let me tell you something. These children, listen here, and this a child from back in 2006. He was 6. You're talking about these 2024 children. Child, listen here, they done upgraded. So when you think you keeping something from your children, you ain't keeping nothing from them. You ain't keeping nothing from these children. These children know the time. Okay. I remember sitting down to the dinner table, and my husband said something to the effect of, "Hey son, this how you treat a woman, when you grow up." And listen here, 6 years old, you know what his response was? He said, "Yes, I know exactly how to treat a woman." He said, "First, I ain't gonna make her cry all the time." Then there was a pin drop, not a pin drop to the table, because none of us expected him to answer like that, right? None of us expected him to answer like that. So, but let me tell you all how I told, because some of you out there, you have kids, and you want to know, well, how do I tell them about this? Well, my 6-year-old, I told him, I said, well, I just want to let you know that you're going to have another brother or sister, but mommy is not having another child. He said, I know. Okay, 6 years old. He said, and I'm like, how did you know? Listen, and I tell y'all, I am the last person that knew my husband was cheating. Even my 6-year-old knew my husband was cheating. And then when I told him this, Then he gets to tell me, well, my daddy always has come pick me up with the girl and she just be in the front seat. And I thought it's strange because why the girl in the front seat and why my daddy always picking me up with her in the car. I tell you, I be the last to know, okay? The last person to know what was going on. Okay? But anyways, you guys, I had left, right? I had left. Nah, when I left, I called my pastor at the time, and I told my pastor, I said, "Hey, pastor, I left, and I was weeping and I was crying on the phone. Okay, weeping and crying on the phone." And my pastor, he said this to me. He said, "Sister Meltori, I hear you. I hear you. If you feel you need to leave, go. But listen, when the time is right, don't let nobody stop you from going back. If you want to go back, you go back. If you don't want to go back, you don't go back. You let that be your decision and your decision alone." Okay. And so with that, let me tell you how let me tell you how I've been going. I leave my husband for 24 hours. Okay, 24 hours. So, and been getting all the texts back and forth for all night, all the next day. I got a call. My in-laws were calling me as well, and I didn't for a while. I ignored their calls. Okay, specifically my mother-in-law. She kept calling me. She kept calling me. She kept calling me. But out of respect, because now I left my baby with her, so I said, you know what? Let me answer this. And then she said, "Altaria, where are you?" And I said, "I am at a friend's house." Right, because I didn't want to tell her where I was. She said, "Please come home and talk to Yoki, please." And I said, "No, I don't want to talk to him because now he done tell me I love you, I don't love you, I hate you, I will kill you, you the best thing that happened to me, I can't live on this island if you ain't my wife, I can't." So it was back and forth, so I didn't know what I was getting. And she said to me, she said, "Just come and talk to him, just come and talk to him, because I think I am afraid that he is going to lose his head." Right? She said he is going out of his mind. Now, let me tell you something. I didn't plan on going back. I didn't plan on going back. But out of respect to my mother in law, I told her, okay. So I left my stuff, right? I left my stuff and I told her to come and pick me up. I told her where I was. When I went, when she picked me up, we went back home. My husband was home inside the room. His eyes was blood red. I am not even, y'all listen, y'all know we be talking about bloodshot red eyes. My husband's his eyes was red. Okay, apparently he was crying. And he told us, mommy, he already had his bag packed. He didn't have his bag packed, and he had my baby bag pack. So he leaving the island. So he had my baby bag and his passport. So he leaving. So in a short conversation, my husband, he this time now it wasn't no back and forth. I hate you. I can kill you. I can murder you. And calling me all names. It was just, I am sorry. He said, I did wrong. I was wrong with what I've done to you. Let me tell you something. With all my husband was doing through the past year prior to that, listen here, that's the first time my husband apologized. This is the first time my husband apologized. So I was like, whoa, what? Right? Yes. So I was like, this is the first time my husband apologized. And he was like, you know what? I should not have done this. I take advantage of this. And he was going on with this big apology. And he said, I am asking you for one more opportunity. Just give me one more chance. He said, and I will do better. I will be better and all this stuff and all this stuff. And listen here, I told her, I said, okay, right? 24 hours later. No, I said, well, you only leave for 24 hours. You should have stayed. Listen here. I accomplished more in 24 hours than I accomplished in the whole, must see, 2 years prior. With all the crying, the begging, and everything, it did not accomplish this much as I accomplished in, this short period of time. I told him I'll give him another chance. But I tell him, I said, listen, on what account? I said, if you do this again, I said, anything again, I am leaving and I will not turn back. I said, and if you put your hands on me again, I said, I will not turn back. I said, my mother was a battered woman. I'd be damned if I be a battered wife. And let me tell you something. From that day to now, my husband has never put his hand back on me. Right? My now, and it was from there that I began to see changes in my husband. Changes like wherever he's going, he would let me know. Right? If he go, listen here. If he say he going by his friend around the corner, he could be 10 minutes. If he 11 minutes, he can call me and say, "Hey, I still here." Or if he leaving from by that friend house and going like right across the road, he would call me and say, "Hey, I was displaced, but I going across the road." It got annoying, y'all. It got annoying. It got annoying because he would call me if he moved from across the road to go back to the friend house. He would call me and say, "Hey, I was across the road, but I back." He would call me for every time he moved. He would call me. He gave me all the passwords to all his social medias, all his email. I didn't even ask him for this. He just said, "You know what? I just want to let you know that I could do better because I can't afford to lose you. I can't afford to lose you." So he gave me his password to his phone. Listen here, y'all. I got the password to the phone. Okay, that was the email wasn't as powerful as getting the password to the phone. Okay, because listen here, I've been on the phone a couple times, and y'all, listen here. I tried to be as detailed and transparent as I possibly could. There was so much like little small details, in between. But I think we'll be here all week if I try to do this now. This a period of 5 years I talking about, so I try to summarize it, the best way I could. And plus, you guys, I talked about it in my book where I too, in the midst of all of this, being mad at God, being mad at my husband, and just being in a dark place, that I too fell to infidelity. But you know what? Out of respect to my husband, I'm not going to go into any details of that because my husband still don't like me to talk about that. Okay, but listen here, it has just been a very very difficult. It was a difficult season for me. I was in a dark place. I was so mad at God. I was at a place where like I didn't want to be saved no more. Right? I don't God, I don't even want nothing to do with you no more. Right? But I couldn't. I was in a headspace, y'all, where I kept telling my husband that I was going to leave him. I was afraid to leave him because I don't know how I was going to start over again. My husband was the only man that I knew, so starting over was like, how do I do that? Do I start dating again? Because like I started to date my husband from high school, so that's why I think I never went like no relationship stuff, because my husband and I, we were dating when we had no business dating. So I was young when we got together. So I was afraid of what new look like, right? And then what I started to do was I started to tell myself I could do this. I could do this. I could find somebody else. I could, start a relationship all over again. I could do it. I could do it. Like people just do it all the time. I could do it. But even in my trying to coach myself, and I came to a point where I said, I am going to leave my husband. It was like I was at a crossroad, and I said to myself, I actually can't leave my husband. Not because I don't want to, but this isn't what God want me to do. God don't want me to leave my husband. And listen here, I wasn't in love with my husband anymore at this point. I wasn't in love with my husband anymore. Many of you, especially of you guys who are believing for restoration, you may come to a point where you don't love your husband anymore. See, this is where I learned, and this is when I learned that all the butterfly feelings that I have in my stomach or had in my stomach, you know, all the, flattering feelings that I had, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to keep me in the space that I was in, dealing with the things that I was dealing with in the sake of for the sake of a marriage. I couldn't even do it for my children, right? I couldn't do it. So this whole love had left. It left. Okay. I was in a place where I didn't care anymore. As a matter of fact, during the time when my husband was, in a good place now, he's always interested in everything that I do. It everywhere that I go, he want to go, he want to take me. Like, he started to smother me. Okay, my husband started to smother me. I couldn't breathe. Like, he was just always there. And if I worked out of town, some 35 minutes away, I tell him, hey, I'm off, I'm on my way home. Listen, that he know it take 35 minutes to get home. If I ain't home in 35 minutes, he wanna know where I am, who I with, where you stop. So it was getting overwhelming. So I was at a place where, what, I need space. I just need space. But it hit me. It hit me like, I don't want this man no more. But I can't leave because this ain't what God want. God don't want me to leave. So guess what? As marriage restoration, the process of marriage restoration continue, it wasn't because I wanted the marriage anymore. It wasn't because I love my husband anymore. It was because, God, this is what you want. And I say, okay, God, if this is what you want, I need you to help me to love my husband again. I need you to help me to love my husband again, because at that point, the love as we know it, the butterfly effect as we know it, it went flying out the window. Okay. But this was a prayer that I constantly had. Lord, teach me to love my husband again. Lord, teach me to love my husband again. Lord, restore the love for my husband again. And so, even in our interaction from there, it wasn't because I loved him, it's because God want me to stay in this position. And now listen here, even in me staying, it wasn't because it was ideal. Some people be like, you know what? The Lord don't want me to be in this position just because you have an hardship. Or the Lord don't want me to be in this because you being disrespected. Let me tell you something. The Lord wants you to fight the battle, and the Lord wants you to win. A lot of times we take hardship as an indication of this ain't what God wants for us. Let me tell you something. The Lord has given us the power and authority over the power of the enemy. He knows that whatever battle that we are facing, be it marriage, be it finances, be it health, be it relationship, whatever it is, he knows that we can win. So he ain't gonna give you no exit strategy. People be talking about, oh, the Lord gave me the green light to leave. Why the Lord gonna give you the green light to leave? And he gave you the tools to win. See, winning brings more glory to the Lord than you quitting. There is more glory for God and for his kingdom and for his love to be demonstrated when you win. Because now you could testify that God's word is true. Am I helping somebody today? If you come on now, let's think about it now. People, let's say you, for example, you hear someone talking about finances is a good example. You hear people talking about finances. Yeah, you could be best in your finances. You could do this with your finances. You could be richly blessed, and then you come to find out they ain't get two pennies to rub together. Their credit score bad. They in about to get evicted out their house. How would you feel about what they're saying about finances? How would you feel? Would you feel that they are a credible witness to tell you how to govern your finances if you ain't got no money in the bank, your credit score bad, you about to get evicted, you ain't get to, how would you feel about listening to somebody who have financial problem about finances? And so your life is a platform for the glory of God to testify of his word. And so yeah, I have been in a position, because I want to make sure that you guys know that on the journey of fighting for my marriage, I didn't always want my husband. I wasn't head over heels about restoration. I was tired. I was done. I was fed up. I felt as if I didn't have nothing else to give. I was embarrassed on every side. Every time I walk out my door, it's embarrassing. Not only because the girl was walking around with her belly out, but everybody knew the how my husband was having affairs on me. Everybody knew except me. And for me, who always walk with my head held high, as if I some queen of the Bahamas, you know. For me, who I always walking, always walking high, always looking good, always driving nice, always got a good job. That was a major crash for me. And so it wasn't about Lord restore my marriage. It was about Lord, let me do what you want me to do. And I know some of you might be saying, well, Mataria, I don't know if the Lord wants this for my marriage. Well, why not? It's a marriage. The idea of God, the foundation of the church were built on marriage. God, when God said, let them have dominion on the earth, He created what? A husband and wife. The husband and wife is the foundation of the church. The husband and wife, the marriage unit was created before the church. And so this whole confusion about if you should fight for your marriage, I don't understand. I don't understand. Marriage is a covenant. God is a covenant keeper. He keeps covenant to 1,000 generations to them that love him. I don't understand how people confuse. I don't understand how people don't think that God wanted to fight for their husband. God wants you to fight for what is yours. If you are professing to be a kingdom citizen, if you say that you serve the God who's all powerful, all knowing, don't you believe that God wants you on the side that He would be on? I mean, we should represent Him. So we should not be out here defeated, right? We should not be out here lacking if we serve the King of glory, the everlasting King. Come on now. Someone say every foundation isn't right. Listen here. The foundation that God built for marriage, the marriage is between a man and a woman. Y'all be thinking too deep about this. Y'all be thinking too deep about it. People try to nitpick. Oh, but we wasn't in the church, and he wasn't in the church, and he wasn't saved, and he was in 5'7", and I was only 2'9", and we was this age, and that was it, and it wasn't in the church, it was in the backyard. We try to make all of these laws concerning the perfect marriage. Let me tell you something. When me and my husband got married, I was 19 and he was 21. He wasn't saved and I wasn't saved. If you don't know my story, you would be out here calling us kingdom marriage. We were out in the world for a long time. We started dating when I was 14 and he was 16. So yeah, people gonna start saying, but what about this and what about that? And and my hair was black and his hair was red, and all of these stuff that we trying to find excuses. God ain't even make it that complicated. That's why He said, he that findeth a wife finds a good thing. There is liberty in that statement. We think that God is out here matchmaking. Okay, you 5'4", you 5'4". Okay, you all two go together. No. Now, of course, the Lord gives us a spirit of wisdom, which we don't use. The Lord gives us the the spirit of wisdom is available to us. Now, truth be told, we don't use the wisdom, right? We don't when we don't have the wisdom, we don't ask for it. And the scripture tells us, hey, if you lack wisdom, ask for it. We don't do that, because we're not in the position where we understand God like this. So yeah, in our ignorance, we do a lot of things in our ignorance. But yeah, if you go and you get married and you're young, you say, hey, you know what? I didn't use too much wisdom in getting married. But hey, God, let me yield to you. Then this is where God gonna show you how to fix it. And fixing it ain't gonna be divorce. Fixing it ain't gonna be divorce. And that ain't how God gonna fix it. Because listen here, if that was the case, me and my husband wouldn't have been together. Y'all know how much people say, marriage, they call it marriage goals, right? They see the sum of, right? They see the polished product, right? They see the diamond, right? But they don't see us in our raw form. They don't see us when we going through infidelity. They don't see us when, I deal with the physical abuse and the emotional abuse and all this abuse. They didn't see that. So now they forget, or they don't take into account that kingdom marriages are the ones that survive the thing that should have torn them apart. right? Do God honor two covenant marriages? So what is two covenant marriages? Right? What is two covenant marriages? Now I ain't going in the marriage and divorce thing now. See, that's a whole nother topic for another day. Right? Everybody's saying, I'm tired, this is lawful and this thing and the next thing. You know what? Dive for this video. So I ain't get into that. But listen here, you guys. If you have um one thing that I did, y'all, and this is for for the upcoming weeks, y'all. I am going to be doing videos concerning, the battle plan, how to fight for your marriage and family, and just laying out specific directions that will help you as you're going through this difficult time. Now, listen here, this is going to be exclusive content. So if you want access to this exclusive content, you want to make sure that you are a super supporter or higher. Now, if you guys decided to come in at, just a supporter, if you just want to be a supporter of the channel, that's fine. But if you want more exclusive videos and content, make sure that you bump up to a super supporter at least, okay? So that's where there are some intimate things, some things that I don't really talk about, because y'all know, even though I'm transparent, there are still some things that I prefer to speak about in a more intimate session. Okay, so I will be, dropping videos for the members only, and you guys will be able to get. That is going to be a whole journey, because sometimes, even in coaching, some people, wouldn't invest in coaching because, is this going to be, worth it? Let me tell you something. The strategies, the tools that I give you in these private moments when I sit down and tell you, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to fix, this is what you need to work on. Listen here, you can't even pay for that. And if you guys realize it, right, if you go think about the content that I create, my books, I have a couple of books out there: Healing and Deliverance for the Broken Wife, The Power of Her Decrees, Introduction to Effective Prayer. These books that I have created is specifically to help wives fight for their marriage and family. And so, yeah, you may be in this place, in this position where you say, hey, Maltaria, I ain't got no help. I ain't got no help. Well, this is why, I believe that the Lord allowed me to be, a voice in this area, because now, there are things, you guys, there are things that I learned, or I was able to look back and say, okay, this is what I had to do. This is why I did it. When I was in the moment, when I was in the midst of it, I didn't know. Because in 2016, when the Lord told me it's time to tell my story, help wives survive for their marriage and family, I didn't think I was qualified. I didn't think I was qualified, because how am I going to be able to do that? But as the Holy Spirit began to reveal to me, okay, Meltara, this is what you did. You remember this? You remember what you did here? You remember how you did this? And you remember how you do that? And I'm like, oh, see, when I was in, I didn't even know that those things were biblically sound. Someone said, I am so tired. I know about being tired. I know. Let me tell. I ain't even tell you all how I found out that my husband had a second child. I didn't. Did I listen here? Okay, 2016. 2016, right? Y'all now, if y'all ain't heard the video from yesterday, make sure y'all go and check out part one. So in part one, I told you guys how I heard that my husband was messing around with this young lady, right? But the young lady, I attempted to, let's have a conversation. I attempted to reach out to her to talk, but she didn't want to talk to me, because she said I trying to mess up her family, like mine mess up, right? So some years later in 2016, she her child was 9 years old at the time, and the guy who she apparently had the child with, he was in another relationship, and the person in the other relationship encouraged the guy to go and get a DNA test, because he don't look like you. He don't, you have these other children, they don't look like each other. So behind mom's back, he went and he got a DNA test and found out that the child was not his. And she was like, the only other person that she went with at the time was my husband. Now, the thing about this is, my husband denied being with her. And to make matters worse, me and my husband had a moment of truth. We had a moment of truth where I was like, you know what, in order to heal, me personally, because you remember, I tell you all, I had my moment of, indiscretion, right? I had my moments of indiscretion. I say, God, I don't want nothing in my closet no more because now I'm moving higher in God. I'm building my relationship with the Lord. I say, God, I don't want nothing in my closet. But anyhow, an opportunity came, made my husband sit down and said, we're gonna lay it all on the table. Well, I laid it all on the table, and my husband decided not to lay it on the table. And so now when this moment came, right? I was hurt all over again because he had an opportunity to lay it on the table and he decided to withhold that bit of information. And so I was hurt all over again. And 2016 is when I started doing this. So I take off my ring. I'm like, God, why did you have me to do this? Tell my story, ministering to all these wives, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be married after this. I don't know if I'm gonna be married after this. And you know what? I started doing it on the devil doing this, and the devil attacking me because the devil don't want me to speak, and the devil don't want me to help people, and yada yada yada. But come to find out, this exposure was the Lord's doing. It was the Lord that uncovered this secret. How do I know that it was the Lord? Well, I was on Periscope during this era, right? And my husband knew that I love to be on Periscope. I was on Periscope every day. But now seeing that I had got this, this news, it was a blow to the stomach. My husband was like, come on, come listen to Periscope. But he don't know what he was doing. And he put on this random video. Someone who I wasn't even following, but he put it on for just, trying to encourage me. And this person, she said in her Periscope, she said, someone, she said, this is a word for someone out there. She said, the Lord said, it was me that uncovered the secret. She said, he said he had to do it so that I can properly heal. Listen here, I was laying down and sobbing. And when I heard that, I sit up from the bed because I knew she was talking to me. The Lord said he had to uncover the secret so that I can properly heal. And so someone asked me earlier about, Taria, you just in such a good place because of healing. I am able to come here and talk to you like I'm talking to you right now because of healing. And this is where the book Healing and Deliverance for the Broken Wife was birthed from. Coming to a place of healing after being broken in my marriage. So you guys, if you have not gotten a copy of that book, Healing and Deliverance for the Broken Wife, make sure you get a copy. It will be a blessing. I know a lot of people say, I'm tired. I don't know how much I could take. Listen here. Earth has no sorrow, heaven cannot heal. And so, yeah, we know that our physical, our flesh, we get tired. I got tired. I wanted to quit, but you got to tap it and lean on the strength of the Lord because to attempt to do this in your strength, you will not be able to do it. And so, you guys, for those of you who are, official members of the channel, I'm going to be dropping additional content, because I want to walk you through. Like I said, I can't, this particular, official, the content that I'm going to drop, it can't be in one video. So it's probably going to be over the course of probably 20 videos, right? Where I'm going to be mapping out, with scripture, say, hey, this is what the scripture said, and this is what you do, this is how you do it, this is what you focus on. So if you are a not just an official member, but what would the other a super supporter. If you are a super supporter or a VIP supporter, you will have access to those videos. Okay. And if you haven't become an official member as yet, make sure you go ahead and join the channel. Okay. Make sure that you make your support official. And you guys, I know that, sometimes you may say, hey, Maltaria, I want to support the channel and things get tough. You can always upgrade and downgrade and upgrade and downgrade and support and say, hey, I little tight this month, Notaria, and support however it is that you're able to, but become a supporter. Anyways, you guys, so probably tomorrow, y'all, we're gonna be doing a Q&A. I know a lot of y'all have a lot of questions, like, Notaria, what am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this? So we're gonna come back with Q&A tomorrow. I joined and it's not showing. I contacted YouTube support. They're looking into it. Okay. Yes. I hope that you get it sorted out. I don't control that, you guys. So it is YouTube. So if you have any problems, make sure that you reach out to YouTube. Also, if you have an iPhone, don't use your iPhone to do it. Go on your desktop. Okay. So go on your desktop, join, and then you could access it on your phone. I know that people, and because I'm in like this boot camp, and the people in the boot camp, they were letting us know that Apple users has been having issues with the subscription. So if you're an Apple user, go on your desktop, handle your subscription business, and then you can access it from your phone. Anyways, you guys, I do appreciate your support today. I hope that you have been blessed, not just this video, but blessed by my video yesterday. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go watch it. If it has been a blessing to you, make sure give it a thumbs up. Giving it a thumbs up is letting YouTube know that this video was good. And YouTube, you should send this to another wife. So thank you all for joining today. I'm going to see you all tomorrow. I hope that you have a blessed day. And y'all who are fighting for your marriage, be encouraged. Because listen here, if God can do it for me, He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I hope that from me testifying yesterday and today, y'all recognize that I just like y'all. And I'm not superhuman. Anyhow, thank y'all for joining. Y'all have an amazing day. See y'all tomorrow.